no matter who you are, the minute you see how anything is made from scratch, you develop this incredible appreciation for it, knowing what goes into it, not only the ingredients, but also the labour to turn something like flour into Fillo pastry. Fillo pastry is not an easy feat. It's an extremely delicate product, but once it's mastered, is truly beautiful. I'm Christine Apostolese from Antoniou Fillo Pastry. 60 years ago, my grandparents, Chris and Marina Antoniou, started out of a shop front in Glebe, Antoniou Fillo Pastry, making Fillo pastry and gatifi pastry by hand. It was a labour of love from the beginning. Out of the shop in Glebe, they developed a name for themselves. People would come from far and wide to buy our Fillo pastry that they were making by hand.
Here's Chris Antoniou, who has been making Fillo pastry for some 30 years in Australia, to show you how it's made. It started with a ball of dough, and Chris is now throwing it on the table.
Quality was the number one priority for them, and they never settled for anything less. So that's kind of where the business evolved and grew. They worked incredibly hard, not only growing a business, but raising a family and growing this business to what it is today. So today, Tony and Con, my two uncles, and my father Nick run the business, and myself and my cousin Tim and Crystal are also involved from the third generation. Fillo pastry is essentially flour and water. These two ingredients are mixed together, stretched, heated, and rolled out in paper-thin layers onto huge rollers like rolls of fabric, which are then cut and weighed and sorted all by hand, as it has been for the last 60 years. Anyone who's worked with Fillo pastry knows that it's paper-thin, really light, so beautiful to work with when it's perfect, and this is something that my grandparents pride themselves on. So another product we make is gatifi pastry, and what we like to call it is string pastry. So it's essentially a crepe-like batter, which is dripped onto a rotating hot plate in fine streams that slowly bakes, comes off in a vermicelli noodle type fashion. It's a really unique product. It's super exciting to see it being used in so many different cuisines and kitchens. Manufacturing Fillo pastry products and gatifi pastry is still an incredibly labour-intensive process, which involves a lot of human involvement and, of course, our staff. Our staff are like family. Some of the faces here and some of the people that we get to work with every day, you know, some that have been here since before I was born and have seen me from a little baby is pretty special, and to be working with them today and see their appreciation for what we do and also have the respect because they've worked with my grandparents and seen what they've built is really special and something that we really value here. So we're really lucky to still have our grandmother, Marina Antoniou, around, who talks fondly about this business, about their experience, their struggles and hard work. And I think the most special thing is when she does come to the factory, she walks in here as though she was walking in, 40 years ago for another hard day at work, checks everything that's going on, gets in there, looks at the product and inspects it. That passion, I think, never goes away, and it's something that we strive to carry on in the way we run the business and the passion that we have for this business well into the future. The thought of celebrating 60 years being in business as a family business, it makes me feel so proud. People I've spoken to who tell me that ever since they can remember, there was always a packet of Fillo pastry in their fridge. On a weekly basis, their mum would make a spanakopita. At every birthday, there would always be a tray of baklava. That makes me so proud and so excited to know that we have been in the homes of Australians for 60 years is phenomenal. I think our brand, Antoniou Fillo Pastry, has had such a significant impact on the Australian food scene. To see a business being built by two people who migrated from Cyprus, my grandparents, and to see where it is today and that we're now celebrating 60 years is just remarkable, and the whole family is incredibly excited and something that, we're just so proud of.